There you go. Perfect. Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build. I'm your host, Matt Forte. We are here live at the Build studio in New York City. All Elite Wrestling is a new professional wrestling promotion built and designed from the ground up with wrestlers and wrestling fans in mind. In just the last 10 or so months, AEW has brought an excitement to professional wrestling that hasn't been seen in over 2 decades, with a growing roster of world-class male and female athletes who are poised to bring new spirit, freshness, and energy to the industry. Now, joining me hot off the premiere of their new weekly live Wednesday night Dynamite on TNT, some of the biggest names in the game. I'm talking literal icons, people. Chris Jericho is here. Jon Moxley is here. Nyla Rose, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Awesome Kong Kia Stevens. How y'all feel about that? You guys excited? I'm excited. You guys are... They're excited. So you're on notice at home, audience. You better be excited as well. We're going to bring them out in just a moment, but first, I believe we have a look at the gang in action. So let's go ahead and run that clip.
We want to set a new standard for all of pro wrestling.
We have the best performers in the world. We're doing something very different.
This is not a reckoning.
This is a revolution. The all-elite era starts
Today. It's a show for wrestling fans by wrestlers.
12,000 tickets sold in just 4 minutes. This is what you call a paradigm shift.
The Young Bucks, they're just fearless.
We're the best tag team in the world.
I'm not your average cookie cutter chick.
AEW, taking this game to a whole new level.
The real question is, are they ready for us?
We're about to make history. This is a revolution. All Elite Wrestling on TNT.
Oh, man, what a promo. You better make a ridiculous amount of noise. Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Nyla Rose, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and Awesome Kong Kia Stevens, people. AEW, do it. Go, go.
Do it. Come on. There we go. Woo! Awesome.
Oh, man. Guys, congratulations, one and all. What an amazing week it's been for you so far. The numbers are in after the first night of what the fans are calling the Wednesday Night Wars. You guys are the clear victor, of course, by a mile. How's it feel right now to have the fans show up and be there for you guys and have such an awesome occasion happen this week?
I think if I can take the lead, it's not a war for us. We're not in a war with anybody other than ourselves. I think the most important thing about the rating the other day was that we were number 2 on the demo for the whole night. And if you know about ratings, the numbers are great, but the demo is more important. So we're not even talking about other wrestling shows. We're talking about the entire evening, other than that dastardly Major League Baseball, which beat us. But other than that, it was a huge victory all across the board. And it's good to know that there's a fan base for a wrestling company outside of the box. And people have been talking and pontificating and wondering what was going to happen. Now that we have this show and this rating and the vibe of what we're going to be presenting every week under our belts on week 1, it's shut everybody up. And now we can just get to work and put on a great show every week.
Puts wind in the sails for sure. And you're right. The numbers is not just the wrestling. This was the number in 5 years the highest premiere TNT's had or seen. It was like a massive hit by any standards, not just for the sport itself. And I said this in my introduction. I mean it wholeheartedly. I think a lot of people will agree. As wrestling fans, you guys are bringing an excitement that we haven't seen in decades. You're bringing something back to the game that we've been missing, that we've been wanting and longing for. What's it feel like? I want to go around to be at the forefront of that excitement, to be able to bring that energy back into the game.
Well, as a wrestling fan, I mean, to be a wrestler, first you're a wrestling fan. So to be a wrestling fan and have that energy that's like tangible out there, it's exciting, because sometimes things get a little warm, but there's an excitement in the air right now, and people are going to their neighbors. Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? And that's exciting, especially to be a part of.
Yeah, for sure. There's such a buzz about the business now that was basically created when we started. back in January when this was announced, suddenly the whole wrestling world was put into a tailspin about the fact that there was an actual alternative to WWE for the first time in 20 years. That was great for the guys and girls in the business. It was great for the fans, for the television companies all across the board. I think at this point in time, solely because of AEW, especially our company, wrestling has become cool again, and we're kind of the forerunners of that.
I want to go around the horn and talk to everybody real quick and start with just what it was that brought you to AEW, why you decided to jump in and join ship and hitch to this wagon and join this party, because a lot of you, without question, the best in the game, and that's been said about almost everybody on this stage. So why was it AEW? That's where I want to be. That's who I'm signing up with. Chris, we'll start with you, and then we'll go around. We'll go to John next and see.
When I heard that Jungle Boy was going to be there, he's so sexy, I just had to come and be a part of it. I mean, come on, right? Like, geez, I'm in. For me, it was a chance to have the creative freedom and the artistic freedom that you don't get anywhere else in this business, and the chance to, we're talking about changing the universe and changing history, and we've done that. And to me, that was exciting to be a part of something from the ground up, because if you're a wrestling fan from our generation or the generation before, maybe even the generation before, you've never seen a wrestling company, start from scratch at the highest of levels like we have. WWE started in the, 40s, 50s. NWA, WCW started in the 20s or whatever it was. This is a chance to see a company whose very first show was at a sold-out arena with 14,000 people on a major network with a great roster of some of the best performers in the world. You've never had that chance before, so to me, that was the biggest appeal, to be able to do something that really could make a difference to the business.
Yeah. John, how about you, man? You're showing up at the end to Double or Nothing. Jaws were on the floor, man. And I was reading you signed that day. You put pen to paper, and then that night you were running into the ring. Did you know at that moment that you'd be joining that quickly? I'm in, here's the contract, and now let me get out there. Was that all in your head from the beginning, or is it all just kind of organically happened?
It didn't happen that day. It was a couple weeks before made the official agreement. For me, it was all just crazy timing, and so much of this business is just timing. I had made the decision months and months and months ago that I was going to leave where I was before, and it's funny because I attempted to throw everything away as far as money, fame, could care whether or not I ever get recognized on the street for the rest of my life. That's not a part of why I do this. Wrestling in front of 15,000 people, being, on the top of the industry. I attempted to throw all that away and go back to wrestling in, like, VFW bingo halls or whatever. Yeah. It didn't work out like that. I'm sitting here talking to you right now, and I'm wrestling in front of 15,000 people again. It was all just crazy timing. And I kind of didn't even find AEW. AEW just kind of found me. It all just...
It's a funny story. He actually he called me for some advice, because we're pretty good friends from WWE, and he didn't even know, not the most socially media-friendly guy, didn't even know that AEW was a thing. And he was like, "What? I want to get out of here. What do I do?" I said, "Well, there's a place you can go." And he's like, "Really? Tell me about it." So that's it was
weird, because I didn't share with anybody, even my closer friends in WWE, that I was leaving. Nobody knew except just my wife, basically. The first person who knew outside of me was Chris, because we happened to be talking. We'd always kind of maintain contact, passing Sasquatch articles and UFO videos along and stuff like that. And I was just like, "Yeah, dude, I'm out of here." And he's like, "Dude, you need to come work with us." And I'm like, "What?" And then it was maybe minutes later, I was on the phone with Cody, who I'm friends with, and he starts explaining to me this stuff that people don't know yet. And I'm like, "No way, really?" I at first believe it when you see it, but I'm like, I was gone whether or not. And then it all just, and the first show was in my hometown, so I didn't even have to get on a plane.
It was designed for you to be there.
Yeah, it was almost like by accident, It was almost like if, me and Chris and Awesome Kong are like friends, and I got off work early, and I just showed up at their house, and they didn't know I was going to show up at their house, but they were getting ready to go to the bar, and I was like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Right when they're about to leave, they're like, "We're going to the bar," and I'll be like, "Oh, okay, I'm come too." That's kind of like how I ended up.
That was exactly how it happened.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Kia, how about you?
It's weird because I thought I had left wrestling because I went, I gone Hollywood.
I was gonna say you're a big star right now.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I've gone Hollywood. I've taken my last bump, and I'm gonna be paying people to bump for me now. And then AEW started, and it was like, okay, well, what y'all doing over there? When I had left wrestling, it wasn't fun for me anymore, and it became an occupation, a job. And I felt that I owed it to wrestling if I felt like that to leave it. And with AEW, y'all done made it fun again. After Vegas, that was fun. I was like, okay, I think I'm going to come back to wrestling because y'all done made it fun again, and I missed it. So thanks to the fans for that.
Did any of your time on Glow and working on that show, which, by the way, round of applause for Kia on Glow. Isn't she amazing in that show? Fantastic. Did any of your time working in that environment, did you bring any of that experience or anything you learned there back to the game, back into the ring with you when you came to AEW?
I mean, just things that I learned about being an artist.
Yeah.
Yes, but, the wrestler in me, once you're a wrestler, it never sleeps. Like, it might go dormant for a while, but once wrestling has you, it's got you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like the beast just woke up again. I was like, I want to play. I want to play with those people. I want to play again. So that's why I'm like.
She told me a great story when she came to Vegas. She thought it was just another indie show, and she wanted to set up a table in the back of the venue and sell gimmicks.
That was Chicago. I did. The first show in Chicago, I was like, they were like, oh, I was like, where's everybody? Because we had like the StarCast signing. They're like, they're all at the show. I was like, oh, at the show. Oh, there's a local show. And I seriously like got by like 8 by 10. I was like, I'm gonna set up a little table in the corner. And then we got to the Chicago Center. I was like, oh, the Sears Center. Okay. They're not gonna let me set up a table here. And that was like my first introduction to like, I was like, oh, what is this? Why wasn't I invited? Yeah. How do I get in? So yeah, I started like knocking on doors and look at people through windows like, hey, remember me?
Jungle Boy in the back, man. You what's it been like a year and change? You were ready to cut your teeth and work the road, run the independent circuit. Jungle Boy popped, and now here we are. X amount of months later, you're sharing a locker room with icons and legends. What's this journey been like for you, man?
It's been amazing. I mean, really, for me, it is a dream come true, and it feels like that a lot. I kind of can't believe how quickly it's all come about. I think I got lucky kind of with the timing of everything. I kind of blew up on the indies around the same time this was all coming about. So that feels lucky to me. As a fan, I kind of fell out of love with wrestling for a while in terms of watching it. And it wasn't what I had fallen in love with originally, and that was kind of a bummer because I loved it. And for me, really, it was Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and Cody and Chris who got me interested in watching again. And they kind of reignited that passion that I had for it. So then when I got the opportunity to be involved with them and everyone else, there was no way I wasn't going to take it up.
Working with guys at this level, what's that do for your game? Does it force you to up your game? Are you trying to take advantage, learn as much as you can, ask as many questions as you can?
Yeah, well, I'm nervous all the time because now I got to perform in front of these guys. But, yeah, I'm super excited. I feel like it's going to do nothing but positive things. I have the best in the world here to ask for advice and feedback and all that, so.
Awesome. And now, Nyla, you had a great match on Wednesday. You were so close. I thought you had it. And
Me
Rio
too.
pulled ahead. Yeah. Coming out of a moment like that, what do you take from that experience going into the next match? Because I know you want that belt.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Everything's a learning experience, and luckily we can go back and watch the replay. I can kind of study where I went a little off kilter and kind of correct myself. But yeah, just being around everybody, being able to pick brains and learn and constantly improve. I couldn't ask for a better reason. It's kind of why I'm here. It's 100% selfishly motivated. I saw who all was involved and I was like, I need to be a part of that. I need to, if I'm going to get better, I need to be around the best. Yeah. Plain and simple.
I was reading an article. I didn't realize you are a trailblazer. You are the first openly trans woman to sign a major contract, which I've seen. When you see headlines and things like that written about you, how do you carry that? Is that extra pressure? Is there pride? What does it feel like when articles identify you as that and you are that person?
It's a little weird. Like there is a bit of pressure. There's definitely a bit of pride, but at the same time, it's I want to make enough noise to the point where they're not putting that out there. You know, you don't see, hey, we signed a black guy. Like, you know, hey, we just signed 3 Jewish guys. You know, you don't see that. Like, there's none of that out there. So it's like, I'll be so happy when we get to the point where it's like Nyla did something, and that's the headline. It's like no longer, you know, like that's where we got to get. And you know, if I can help get us there, I don't mind driving the car for a little bit. I'm used to these long road trips.
The organization, like head to toe, best talent in the world. You guys got even outside of the ring. You got good old JR on the mic. I saw Earl Hebner was officiating. I was like, my God, is there a certain level of comfort or trust when you find out that at every point in the organization you've got world-class talent working with you guys?
I think what our mindset was across the board is we didn't want it to be like other companies that come out and they have, you know, a lot of former WWE guys, guys that have been around for years that they're back again. That's fine, but we didn't want that. We knew that there was enough talent out in the world that chose not to go to WWE, that wanted to do things their own way. And that's one thing that once again really appealed to me was you had the Bucks and Kenny Omega and Cody and guys like this that were making great money and becoming big names completely on their own, doing things their own way and not having to worry about the WWE system. So throw that in there with some vets, some familiar faces like Mox and myself. I find that we're kind of the bridge that brings people to AEW. Oh, we know Jon Moxley, we know Jericho, we know Dustin Rhodes, we've seen Cody before. But once you come check out AEW, then you get to see the Nylas and the Kongs and Jungle Boy and MJF and Adam Page and all these guys, Kenny and the Bucks, that they don't have a fan base in mainstream America. They will now after 1 week. And so we're going to have a lot of guys that are almost 10-year overnight sensations, people that they've never seen them before, but they've been working and honing their craft for years. And that's going to help us huge because we have a lot of star power on our show, which is what you need to have a successful wrestling company. But they're fresh star power.
Yeah, what I was thinking the other day was like, what makes this different than maybe previous ventures is it's not, you know, any old timers past their primes, former names, WWE cast-offs, anything like that. If you look at the top 6, 8, maybe 10, maybe more guys of the top wrestlers in AEW, all of them, Kenny, the Bucks, Cody, Chris, myself, Pac, others, if we wanted to be, we could be in WWE right now. We're all actively choosing to do something else. So that's a different level of motivated people, all in their prime, with big fan bases, you know, all guys and girls. So it's man, there's just so much excitement. It was fun. There was so much excitement. There's so much excitement in the business right now. Just, it's exciting to see the moves other companies are making and how they're, you know, bringing back pyro and stuff like that. You're like, oh, it's on. You know, just there's more. It's just fun. In the fans of the energy, it was just fun backstage. Just like that, there was so much energy, and it was like, I mean, a big difference too. Like backstage is in WWE, for instance. You know, it's a lot of corporate speak and a lot of towing the line and a lot of company line rah speeches and crap like that, and it's all bull crap. We're a team, and it's like, really? There's none of that. There's none of that whatsoever. But it really felt like a team effort the other night. It really felt like, I mean, there were high fives and slaps on the butt, and like it was really exciting to be a part of.
I think everybody has said pretty much up here that it reignited their passion for wrestling, that AEW existed. And a lot of fans have been saying to me, and a lot of guys in the business, but the fans are like, you know, I wasn't watching, and now I'm excited to be a wrestling fan again. I watched for 10 years and haven't watched for 10 years, and now it's making me excited to enjoy this business. And that's really, really cool for us, because I think when you're talking about doing 1.4 million people, I think a lot of those people were maybe lapsed wrestling fans. If you go back to the Monday Night Wars, which were only, 10 or 20 years ago, let's say, there was 12 million people watching wrestling on a Monday night. Now there's 2.2 million. Where did all those people go? Was there a rapture that just took them all away? They obviously were, right? I think they were fans at some point, and now maybe they didn't like the WWE presentation or system, and they want to give AEW a try and go, well, that's wrestling the way that I like it. So I think we're going to get a lot of our fan base coming from the nether regions that weren't watching on a Monday or a Tuesday and just want to be a part of AEW from the ground up.
You guys, AEW Dynamite, it's every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on TNT. The next two shows, for those on this coast, you're in Boston and Philly, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Two huge sports towns, very aggressive audiences. Are you guys pumped for that energy? I mean, that's going to be nuts.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I mean, that's like my husband's like hometown, and
Is it? Yeah.
like he's flying out, he's pumped. Therefore, like the energy in my house is all pumped. It's like, you ready for Boston? We're ready for Boston. Like, oh yeah,
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, both those shows sold out in hours, just because of the buzz. So it's great because you talk about wrestling being very strong in this area: New York, Philly, Boston, Washington, where we were the other night. So Pittsburgh. It's good to know that we have a fan base in those cities, because before we were doing a show every couple months, people could travel. Now it's every Wednesday. You're in Boston. How many fans do we have in Boston? Well, we have 10,000 at least. So we have to cultivate our own fan base in each city that we go to, which is not easy to do. But we've been getting a great jump on that by selling thousands of tickets every day a show goes on sale.
I want to make sure we got time. We've got a bunch of questions in the room. We're going to go to them. But thank you. You're all extraordinary athletes and entertainers, and it's so much fun to watch you guys doing what you're doing. And it looks like you guys are having fun out there, too, and it just makes it such a great experience. So congratulations. I look forward to every Wednesday night watching you guys do your thing. We've got at least 4. Fantastic. Let's go. We got microphones in the room. First one right here in the front. Do it up.
Hi, my name is Scott. I'm a big fan. I was in Washington on Wednesday. I was at the inaugural event in Las Vegas. It was the best wrestling show I'd ever seen in my life, and I've been to a lot of shows. I was also in Jacksonville, and you guys never take a night off. Thank you so much for that. I have 2 questions. Number 1, I know you absolutely killed it on Wednesday. Dynamite almost doubled next. And I know you guys are fresh, and there's a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz. And other than just great product, great wrestling, how do you plan to keep those numbers up? And number 2, about the wrestling crews that you have, I know in the past, there's been last-minute cancellations of other wrestling talent being forced out by pressure by the other organization. Are you worried about a lot of the bigger stars from the other wrestling organizations last minute sort of cutting out again because of pressures?
Well, it's a war now. It wasn't when those guys were booked on my cruise, but it's part of the business, and that's why I based everything around Chris Jericho and AEW. I know we'll be there. So if someone has to pull out, there's nothing I can do about it. It's still going to be one of the best vacations and one of the best times of your life. And we can't worry about the pettiness of the WWE if they do or do not want to do something. So we'll be there. It's going to be a blast either way, and that's the best I can say.
Great. Thank you, man. I've got at least 3 more. Let's go for the next one right here.
Hi, congrats on Wednesday night. My question was, when's the next AEW show whenever it's coming to New York, New Jersey area? If you know.
Not soon enough.
Yeah.
Not soon enough.
check the website and.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while, and we almost had a big show here that once again was kind of thwarted by the evil empire. But we'll be here, and when we do, we'll sell that show out in a fucking hour.
Obviously. Thank you, guys.
Great question, better answer. We've got time for 2 more. Let's do it up. Go for it.
Hey, Chris, this is for you, and feel free, all of you guys, to jump in. You've been entertaining in the business for since you were 19 in various ways. What do you plan to bring to the table for AEW?
I think all of us feel the same thing. We're just going to bring what we do. And once again, like I mentioned earlier, and I think we all feel the same way, is we have the creative freedom to be the artists that we are. October 2nd was legit my 29th anniversary of my first match from Ponoka, Alberta to Washington, D.C. But I know what I'm doing. He knows what he's doing. They all know what they're doing. We don't need somebody to write stuff for us and say, here, say this. If I was doing a movie and I was playing the character of Johnny Schwartz and I was given a script, that's awesome. But no one knows how to play the character of Chris Jericho more than I do. And I think that's the best part about AEW is we can be the characters and the personalities that we know are going to get over to the biggest of our abilities. So I think that's a fresh and clean slate for the business because it's not like that anywhere else. but we're like that here. And you could see that on Wednesday, just how much of an improv element there was. And it was much more Wild West, which made it so much more fun to watch and to be a part of.
The biggest thing everybody's going to be bringing is passion. Unbridled, unscripted, unchained passion with whatever they do to the ring. All the guys, all the girls, whatever they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Just
to piggyback on that,
fans have that passion too, you know?
it's like there's been a resuscitation, like a revival of people's passion in the wrestling industry. Like wrestlers, I can see the attitudes that they had when they first got into wrestling 10, 15 years ago. That's the energy that I've seen backstage, and it's that magic happens in the ring, and then you guys feel it, and we're all having fun in there. And when you have fun in there, you're not approaching it as a job. You know, people can see through that. So I think once, you know, you see the passion and just the fun that we're having, and you join in, we're all going to be having a good time, a better time than we had in the last decade or so.
I've got time for one more question. Let's go ahead and do it. You've got a microphone.
I feel like I'm in the back of the class here.
Make it good.
Once again, congratulations to each and every one of you for Wednesday night and continuing to build. And for me as a wrestling fan, and I lost my way for many years for the products that were out there. Thank you for reinvigorating myself as a wrestling fan. Wrestling is always a forward-facing business. So my question is, for the entire panel, where do you see yourself and the organization a year from today, moving forward?
Bigger, badder, and bolder. I mean, you know, we've been building this from the ground up from day one. You know, we knocked it out of the park on Wednesday, and I think it's safe to say we're just going to keep doing what we do. It's a formula that's worked for us. We're going to keep doing that and just keep building. Would you say 5 years, whenever? We're going to be bigger and badder than that.
I think, too, is we're very smart in how we're building it, and we're not biting off more than we can chew. We understand what the market is, and we understand who the biggest player is. And listen, we love WWE. I loved working for Vince McMahon. This is not a cut down of that company, but we have to concentrate on our way of doing things. And the buildings that we're booking are big ones, but they're not the biggest in the city. We're smart enough to know we have to build our fan base. We have a lot to prove to people in America and around the world that consider wrestling to be WWE only. And that's fine. I think if you give us a shot, you will join the AEW, team. And it's going to take a while. It takes, you could be wrestling for AEW for a year and have somebody come up to you in the airport. Are you still wrestling? I haven't seen you on WWE for a while. That's okay. It takes a while to let people know who we are. We got a great roster. We got a great production team. We have the best TV partner, and we got we got a lot of passion, like Mox said. So I think a year from now, like Nyla said, we'll be bigger and badder, but we're also very smart in how we're doing this. We're building our foundation one brick at a time, and a year from now, our castle's going to be even taller and stronger than it is right now.
I've been surprised at every step of the way. I mean, it's going to be a long journey to get, where we want to go as, entrenched as, a huge, viable alternative that's a big deal. And there'll probably be stumbling blocks along the way, and, but it just seems like one good thing keeps happening after another, and momentum keeps building. And I think that is indicative of the passion of this fan base, whether they be new fans or old fans or lapsed fans or whatever you want to call them. I just keep getting more. So the rating was huge. Building sold out. Just one thing after another that I keep going. I'm just like, a year from now, who knows, man? Jeez. We might take over the world by accident.
And it's because of you guys. Like, we're doing the work, but there'd be no work to be done if you weren't returning the love at the end of the day.
That's right. Yeah, sure.
There's a lot of excitement. Well, every Wednesday, right now, Dynamite, AEW Dynamite is on TNT.
Dynamite!
That's right.
I got to get Jimmy Walker to say that.
How has that not happened yet?
Somewhere. Jimmy Walker, if you're listening, I'm sure you are.
He's a big fan of the show.
Give me a call.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know
Was
Jimmy
he
Walker.
75 now?
I think so. Which is
Still
why
say Dynamite.
Sits at home and watches
Dynamite.
That's what he does.
Like the kids now going, Jimmy Hill.
Google it. Google it.
Before we wrap it up, I just want to thank you guys again. So cool to have all of you here. I know you're heading over to Comic-Con, right? You're going to have some fun over there as well. So keep an eye out for that. But until then, guys, every single Wednesday, TNT.
Next Wednesday in Boston, Jon Moxley, Sean Spears.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
I'm going to hit him so hard, I'm trying to take his head off. I'm trying to put his head through a wall. He will, too. I'm going to whoop that boy's ass.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Do not miss it. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen. AEW right here. Do it up.